Expired domain names are a great way to expand your domain investing portfolio. Thousands of domain names expire on a daily basis, making it easy to start a high authority website or relaunch your brand or just flip it for a profit. So let's take a look at why you should consider buying expired domains and how to go about it. But before that, what is expired domains? All domain names are registered for a certain length of time. When that period expires, you have to renew your domain registration in order to keep it active. If you fail to renew the domain before the end of the registration term, most registrars will give you a grace period to renew the domain name. Once the grace period is over, the domain becomes an expired domain. Most registrars will then list the expired domains as an auction item. If the domain fails to be bought at even the auction, then the domain registrar puts it into the normal list for the general public. The length of the grace period and the exact process time varies from one domain registrar to the next. So the $1,000,000 question is, why should you consider buying an expired domain? And the simplest answer is, it's a great business and investing opportunity, and that is there for several reasons. The first one being, you can immediately launch a high authority website. Good domain names get picked up quickly, which sometimes makes it hard to launch a website on a particular topic or in a particular niche. When you buy an expired domain that matches with your niche, you can quickly launch a high authority website that already has an established rank. This makes it easier to rank in search engines and get the organic traffic right from the start instead of spending years building it up slowly. Second reason is, you can easily redirect to an affiliate site. If you rely on affiliate marketing for your income, you can use expired domain names to redirect to relevant affiliate websites and boost your earnings. And the third reason is, sell the expired domain name for a profit. If you're not planning to use that expired domain name for yourself, you can acquire that domain name and sell it for a profit. Okay, it's not all fairy tale here. There are some things you should consider. While it's true that thousands of domain names are dropped on a daily basis, the truth is that not all expired domain names are good investments. However, there are a few common qualities that all good expired domains have. The first thing to consider is if it is blocklisted by search engines. The most important quality to look for in an expired domain name is to make sure it's not blocklisted by search engines. This will allow you to make use of the domain name immediately and monetize it easily. While you can appeal the blocklisting of the domain, the process is rather lengthy and complicated. By checking the domain name before making a purchase, you can avoid a lot of headache. Second thing to keep in mind is keywords that have high search volume. Domain names that match common search terms are high in demand. If you plan on selling the expired domain name in the future, this can be a beneficial factor that will allow you to ask for a higher price. Third thing to consider is whether it's old. While the age of the domain name doesn't make the domain more valuable per se, it's an indicator of the domain quality. In some cases, domain names that have been registered early on are usually the best and the most sought after domain name. The next thing to consider is it short and does it have hyphens? Shorter domain names are easier to remember, so it makes sense to find a dropped domain name that is relatively short. Hyphens make it hard to pronounce your domain name, and users will often forget the hyphen when typing it in, which means they can wind up on a competitor's site. And the last thing to consider is whether it's registered in multiple extensions. If a domain name is registered in multiple extensions, that means there's likely high demand for it. Some of the other domain owners might be interested in buying a matching domain name in a different extension. This is a great tip to keep in mind if you are planning on reselling the domain name later. Now you must be wondering how to tell if it is an expired domain or not. The easiest way to check if a domain name is expired or not is to quickly do a WHOIS checkup. I will mention the link of WHOIS in the description so you can check that out. The results will tell you if the domain name you're considering is registered as well as the current status of the domain name. Once you've looked up the domain, you will want to look for a line that says domain status. Note that the expiration date on WHOIS can be misleading because I don't know why, but it often adds an additional year to the domain expiration before its last phases. So don't get worried by that and rather pay attention to the domain status. The statuses to look for will be pending redemption or pending delete. Okay, so we have come a lot further in the video, and now is the most important part of this video. how to find drop domains. Finding an expired domain name can be an involved process, from using clunky keyword-based softwares to manually crawling the web to hopefully stumble upon a valuable expired domain. Trying to find drop domain names is tedious and time-consuming. Luckily, I have a better and faster way for you. If you are looking to easily find expired domain names, you can use Godaddy Auctions. Just visit the Godaddy auction page and select expiring as your predefined search. The results will populate a list of domain names that have expired and whose auctions are expiring soon. Before you start bidding, however, it is important and it is recommended to do a bit of research on the domain name you are interested to buy. Okay, so let's say you have stumbled upon a domain name and you are very much interested to buy that. But as I told you, do some research. So here are 6 key metrics that you should consider before buying any particular expired domain, because it is important to know whether or not that investment of yours is going to be fruitful or not. Number 1 is spam. The first thing you should check is whether the expired domain name has ever been used for spam purposes, or if it used or had spammy links and backlinks. An easy way to check is to use the Wayback Machine and investigate what type of content was on the site. A few indicators of spammy content include signs of hacking, keyword stuffing, unsafe content, duplicate content. You can also use tools like Ahrefs or Majestic SEO to investigate historical links and backlinks for a particular domain name. Be wary of links that come from spammy websites or websites with no page or domain authority, irrelevant backlinks, or links coming from suspicious websites. Number 2 is domain and page authority. Drop domain names usually have a higher domain and page authority than a brand new domain. A higher domain and page authority will help you rank better in search engines from the start. So it's a good idea to use most tools to check the domain authority and page authority for the domain name you're interested in. Number 3 is blacklisted or banned by Google AdSense. Google AdSense is one of the most popular advertising platforms for website owners. If the expired domain name has been banned by Google AdSense, you won't be able to participate in the advertising program, which makes monetizing the site harder. You can use the Adsense Sandbox to check if the domain name has been banned. Number 4 is trust flow. Using Majestic SEO, you can check the trust and citation flow for the expired domain name you wanna buy. Trust flow is measured by checking the quality of the domain in question and measuring the quality of a linking site. The higher the trust flow score, the better your rank will be. And number 5 is Google Index. Another important metric to check is the Google Index status and see if there have been any manual penalties. You can do this by simply searching for the domain name in Google. If you get results for pages with your domain name in it, chances are your domain name is indexed, which is a sign that the expired domain name is not penalized by Google. And the last metric, number 6, is trademarks. Lastly, check if there are any trademarks associated with the expired domain name. This can save you from a lot of headaches down the road, as the last thing you want is a lengthy legal battle. Use the US trademark search engine to check for trademark. Also, all the tools that I have mentioned in this video, all those links will be provided in the description, so you don't have to go on Google and search it by yourself. Okay, so you have decided what domain name you want to buy, and now you're confused on how to secure it, because maybe some are not available to buy right now, some will take time, you have to get in the queue. All those things have been covered in this video, where you are taught how to secure a domain, what is back orders, everything related to securing your expired domain name. So make sure to watch this video, and I will see you in some other video. Until then, bye.